Hello, my name is Anne, and welcome to a Tobyknits Quilty Fun Special, Piazza Puzzle Mystery Quilt, clue number 3. Let me just tell you, right off the bat, this was my favorite clue to sew so far. Really was. I had such a lot of fun doing this one, and I really hope you enjoy watching it. I would definitely suggest you watch it before and not actually sew along with me. But when you do then go to sew it yourself, make sure you hit the pause button so that you can catch up before you get to the next step. If you are new to my channel, then welcome. Typically, I talk about my 3 favorite crafts, which are knitting on Mondays, cross-stitch on Wednesdays, and quilting on Friday. And then, of course, once a month on a Saturday, the first Saturday of each month typically, I am sewing along using the Valle fabric, which is beautiful. The colors are so rich and beautiful and sunny, and oh, they make me so happy to sew these. And I'm doing the small quilt, so make sure you've got your little trusty guide. You also will need your instructions printed out and your fabric. So let's get going. Okay, so welcome to Piazza Puzzle Mystery Quilt, small, clue number 3. And I'm doing mine in Valle. Now, I do understand there is a delay in 2 of the fabrics. I forget what the other one is, but I know Valle is one of them that is back ordered at the moment. So hopefully you may not have your fabric or your packages by the time you see this video, but you don't have to sew along with me. You can just watch, and when you actually get your packages, you can then start to sew and keep stopping the video. And I might go too quick, so again, you might want to stop the video. But on my card that gives us our color swatches, what I do is on the top, I have written down that I'm using Aurifil 2000. That's the thread I'm using. So I know I'm good. I use my metallic 1/4 inch foot with the little guide to help me. I do have 2 1/4 inch feet. One is clear see-through with lines on, and then this one has the guide. So you want to make sure you're using the same foot each time, so your 1/4 inch is going to be the same throughout. It doesn't really matter if you're a little bit out here or there, so long as you're consistently a little bit out here and there by using the same foot. And I also am going to put my machine to a 2 for the stitch length. So I have all that there ready. So I'm going to pop that up so I can see it while I'm going. I've got my instructions printed out. And today for this one, we are going to make 2 blocks, 2 of one type of a block, one style, and 1 of the other. And the nice thing about this is we're actually using large fabric this time. So I'm pretty pleased about that. So what I do is I label mine using these Alphabitties that I get from Fat Quarter Shop. They're exclusive to them. They're little plastic alphabets that you can use again and again. They're on both sides. And you don't have to buy them, but I will leave a link below in the description below to where you can get them. You can just use pieces of paper, or you can just use this. But for me, I like both, so I can see what I've got and where I'm going. And then we want to make sure that we've got 8 of these and 4 of those and so on. So just make sure you have everything you need before you get started. Okay, so let's get started with our first part, and it's telling us, I'll just move this out the way slightly, that we are going to need C triangles, which are these, and the A triangle, which I think, is it this one or is it, oh, I think it's the big one. Hang on. Yeah, it's the bigger one. There's 4 of them. So these are what we're going to need to do first, and we are going to need to build what is going to be a flying geese. So make sure you have everything the right way, and these are going to go like this. And we are going to put that together. Don't you just love this fabric? And we're going to make 4 of those. So what I'll do is I'll put them on top like this. Oh, my little tiny turtles. And another set. And these we're going to put away for next time, because we will be needing them a bit later. Okay. So where's my pins? They are right here. So what we're going to do now, you can either pin or you can use the clips. And I can't find my clips right now, so I'm going to pin. So I'm going to take one side, turn it upside down, and place it so that they are lined up, and all these little notches are meeting each other. So I will just pin that and pin another one here. So I'm going to make one for you right now so that you can see how it's going to go. I feel like I should use the, I have no idea where my clips are. It's just bizarre. I don't know. I don't know where my clips are. Very odd. Okay, I would have preferred to use the clips so that they don't make big holes in my beautiful fabric here, but it's all good. And I do use a leader and an ender. I've started to do this now because sometimes I find when I'm going to stitch right here on a point, my feed dogs don't seem to have enough on them to get going. So I stick a little piece of leader underneath, put my needle down and start to sew. And then before it gets to the end, I'll pick this up, and now I'm going to sew the 1/4 of an inch down here using the guide. And I find it does not wreck my fabric. And then I have another one to go at the other end so that when this lines up, my needle is down. And all I have to do now is get my scissors, which have also disappeared because I put them back in the drawer. That would have helped. And I'm just going to snip off underneath, so I'm not wasting any fabric. And then I just take this piece and cut that off. And that now goes and sits on my sewing machine, ready to become the ender next time, if that makes sense. So here we have got that sewn on. So now I'm just going to press this up to the C fabric. So now I am just going to press that this way. Let that sit there for a minute. How's your week been? I just got back from Nova Scotia, went to visit my son and wife and my little grandson Leo, who's 9 months old. I had glue on my iron and it was, anyway. So now I'm going to take this piece and line this one up on that side again, the square going right across there, the square end, and down here to line up with this square knob end. Yeah, so they live in Halifax, actually just outside of Dartmouth, I should say. And while we were there, good old Hurricane Fiona decided to come in and pay us a visit. So the winds were terrible, and the rain, oh my goodness. I mean, I'm from Britain, I know what rain's all about, but holy. And then on top of that, we lost power. We lost power for 4 days, and it was a bit scary. It's quite something to go through a hurricane. It really was. I'm going to set that seam, and then I will iron this one back. Oh, I still have a bit of glue on the edge. It's right on the tip of the... I cannot remember what I was doing that I had to iron with glue. I don't know. And yeah, so it was very scary. And the house was shaking. Oh, look at that glue there. It'll all come out in the wash. So this is what this particular piece is going to look like. And we have to make 4 of those. So I will be back in just a minute with all 4 made. Okay, so here are our 4 gorgeous flying geese. Aren't they lovely? I love this fabric. And look the way it shades, it shifts. It's kind of like, I don't even know what you call that. It looks like someone spilled something on it, and it's shimmery. And look, I mean, look at this one. It's so much redder. I love it. Oh, it's going to look amazing when it's all put together in the quilt. So we have made those, and we now need to set those aside. Our next instructions is to take our B square, so that's this one, and the A squares, triangles, a triangle, and now again, look at the difference in these 2 colors. Like, they're not, oh, I love it. I just love this fabric. I can't say enough about it. And what we're going to do is turn them so they're like this. They're like a diamond shape right now. So we're going to have them so that they're like a diamond, like a diamond. And we are going to place the A over here on this corner. and because it's going to look like this. It's going to be a square and a square. Basically, let me just show you this way. It might be easier for you to understand what I'm doing. It's going to end up looking like this. So they call this a square in a square. So that's what we're going to do. And so in order to do that, and to get the points all to be correct, you have to do opposite sides first, press open or press outwards, and then put the other pieces on. So I'll show you. So basically I'm going to put one here and just line that up. I'll put a pin there. Make sure that's all lined up right. I find with this fabric, that's why I wish I had my clips, it shifts a tiny bit when I put the pin in. So I have to be super careful that I get this both to match up. And you will find it doesn't go like all the way to the edge. I don't know if I can show you that. Let me put a pin in here and I'll try to explain it. You'll see that there's a little bit here, but that will all be taken care of now that we go when we sew it. My ender on. I much prefer doing it with that, the leaders and enders. I saw that on a Laurie Holt video. She uses them. And after you've got a bunch of lines on it, you just chuck it away and get another one. Just use your scrappy bits. So there's one side done. So now we'll just come to the other side. I also find doing that sorry, it's hard to, I don't know if you can hear me when I'm sewing, that's why I keep stopping. I also find that my stitches go right to the end when I use a leader and ender. It's not like they get, you know, when you start, sometimes you end up starting a little bit in and then your seams don't match. So we'll just set the seams and then we are pressing these out towards the A. Let it sit there a minute. And then that one. So now we've got those on. So now we're going to now attach these here, and you'll see now that this will go right to the edge and line up there with this triangle and over here with this triangle. So that's the look we're going for now, that they have been lined up. And then this side, line that one up and that one up. And we will now sew those. Can always tell when I'm on the leader because I'm going faster. Okay, now this side. Okay, so there's that one now. And we will just set the seams. So yeah, it was pretty scary over when I was with the kids. And they have a 9-month-old baby, my son and his wife, who is just adorable, the little Leo. And, but it was, I'm sure it was super hard for them because, you know, we did manage, because we knew in advance that the hurricane was coming, and I was getting messages from people in Ontario where I live, and even my dad and my brother in England were messaging me. You know, it was like, wow, I think we should really pay attention to this this hurricane that's coming. So there is that finished one, and now I just have to do exactly the same with this one, but I'll finish telling you my story first. So we thought, oh, well, we better pay attention to this hurricane. So we had got a few bits and pieces of groceries when we had arrived. So we decided to cook up all the food that we did buy. So it was pre-cooked, and get that ready. And then, so my son is a camper. He likes to camp. So what he did is he had a little stove. So we were able to then heat the cooked food up on his little stove. So that kind of helped. And we, you know, we made sure that we had plenty of fresh fruit and stuff that we could use for the baby and stuff. So, I mean, he didn't know any different. He still went to bed when it was light out and fell asleep at 7, but we all sat in the dark for like 4 nights playing cards. Oh my goodness. It was fun though. We did enjoy it. We got a new game that we friends had shown us, and called 5 Crowns. So we played that a lot with the kids, and with my son and his wife by candlelight. It was rather cool. Anyway, that's my story about the hurricane. 4 days with power and rain and a lovely visit, and 4 days with no power and lots of wind and lots of rain and still a lovely visit. Okay, so here's my second one now completed. So now the instructions are telling us to join the step 1 units, which are these, to the step 2 units. So let's have a look. I'll use one first, and I'll put these 2 out the way. So we need that there, and we need the flying geese to be that way. One on that side and one that side. Now let me just make sure I have that right. So I've got my C's there, the A's, the A's, the A's, the A's, the A's, the A, the C, the C. Okay, so we will then flip this one over, and we will pin these together, matching our edges. Like that. And then that edge. And I will put one in the middle. Ouch! Just pricked myself with the pin. There's one side done, and we'll give that a little. Oh, I didn't draw blood. And those are going out to the A's. Has anybody else ever been through a hurricane, or not a hurricane? Yeah, no, it was a hurricane. Yeah. Yeah, tornadoes are land, hurricanes are sea. Oh, look at the way that lovely, see the way that nicely touches that point? Oh, I love when things go right. Yeah, it was very interesting. It was sad to leave the kids though. Oh, it's so hard when you have one son here with two gorgeous kids and the other son so far away with another gorgeous child. I just love being a nana. Okay, that's not lining up, so let me just squish this along a tiny bit. There. And we already saw a difference in our grandson from the last time we saw him, which was like 2 months ago, I think. It's just, you know, one of those things, I guess. But my mom had to do it. I mean, I came over from the UK when I was 25, and several years later married a Canadian and had my boys. And back then, I mean, holy, they were lucky if they could come once every 2 years to visit. And we would phone each other once a month because the phone was so expensive. Now we're lucky we have Skype and video calls, and oh, I mean, I don't have my mom anymore, but I still have my dad. There, look how lovely that has turned out, and both my points are perfect. You will see here that they don't go to the very edge, and that's fine because that is our 1/4 of an inch when we come to sew that up somewhere in our mystery. So I will now make the other one and be right back. So here is my second one now, and we have completed this section, which is 3A, and I forgot to get my little pieces of paper. Where did I put them? Oh, I think they're in here. Oh, here they are. I have these little pieces of paper that I printed on so that I can mark. I need 2 of them today, so. And no, these are not fabric scissors. These are my paper scissors. So I can mark on here now that this is section 3A. And I will pin this. And that is finished, complete. Don't you think, I keep looking at that, don't you think that this looks like, do you know on boats, when you're on a boat, and they have those little, what are they called? Portholes? Is that the word I'm looking for? It's like a window, but it's like a little round thing. And that's what that reminds me of. If I poke myself one more time. Anyway, so that one is now done. We can put that aside. We have done those 2. So now it's time to make this. And we're going to do the same type of thing. But it looks like this is the really big one. So we have F, and we only have one F. And we are going to take our C's, which are these. Oh, this is going to be a super cool block to make. Oh, I'm excited about this one. So again, we're going to put our C's on like we did before on the corners, lining them up and pinning. And again, don't worry if it doesn't go right to the edge there. It doesn't matter at the moment. So there's one side. Here is the other. I think this so far is my favorite block to make, or my favorite clue to make, let me say. I really do. All right, let's get that one going. I'm gonna have to try to find a better camera angle for you so you can actually see me sewing. But I've tried several times to do that and I just can't seem to get it right. I think it's actually my camera. I think I bought a little camera to use and hoping that it would work, and I got a software program to run it through, and it's not, I don't feel like it gives me a good enough picture. I feel like you're still too far away from me and you can't see what I'm doing. And then of course I was having to use my camera on my laptop so that you could see the sewing, and I still don't think it turned out. So I'm back to using my iPhone, and we will just have to see how that goes until I can afford to get a nicer camera. Okay, so here is our C's and our F's coming on. This side. Come on. I wonder if I can turn my camera a little bit. You might be able to see. I don't know. I shall try in a moment. So we'll just press those seams. Set the seams, I should say, not press them. And I love when all the seams just press out in one particular way. I really do. Sometimes find it hard when you have to fiddle about trying to work out which way the seam goes. Okay, so then we have to take the D's, which are the slightly bigger, and so now we have to, so here we had it like this before. We had our F on a triangle, diamond shape, sorry, and then we had our C's on the corners. Now we're going to turn it so the C's are all the diamond now, and then these will go, the D's will go here on these corners, and these definitely match much nicer here on the edges. I'm going to put 2 pins in this one. turn it round and do the opposite side and put 2 pins in that one. And let me see if I can move this somehow. Whoops. You watch, I'm going to mess this whole thing up now by doing this. I don't know if you'll be able to see me sewing or not, but I will now. One side. And 2. All right, and then we're going to set that seam. And set that seam. And again, we are pressing out. And then we are going to add the other pieces. So here is this one. May as well put one there. Turn it over. And add this one. Okay. When I first started using leaders and enders, I would start with the first one, the leader, and then I would just sew right off the bottom. I never used the ender. So I was kind of still defeating the object. Because what this does is when you stop, your needle is down and you're not using a lot of thread. So you're saving a bunch of thread. All right, let's just set these seams. And again, you're stitching right at the ends and the start. You're not missing any of your seam. And we are pressing these out. I really love this block. I really, really do. Oh, look at it. Ooh. And I'm not bothered about what direction I might try to make them stay that way. Not that they're straight in there, but whatever. And so then we now have to turn this so our D is the diamond shape. And our very last pieces, which are our B's, and they're huge, look at these. These are going to do exactly the same thing as we just did before. We are going to put them on the edges and line them up like this. These are going to take a few more pins. Just want to make sure. I feel like that's not there. Better. And on the opposite side, did you know that on top of the videos I do on Friday for quilting and these monthly videos, I also do a cross stitch one, a floss tube, and a knitting one. I do knitting on Mondays, cross stitch on Wednesdays, and quilting on Fridays. My channel started as a knitting channel, which is why it was called Tobyknits. Toby is my dog. He's a little Yorkshire Terrier. And when I had my craft room upstairs, he would come and sit in there with me, and he would sit on my chair behind me while I sewed or quilted or knitted or whatever I was doing, and he would come and sit there, and he would love it. Now that I'm in the basement, because grandson number 1 now has that room as his, with his crib and soon to be big boy bed going in there. Tristan is nearly 2, is nearly 2.5, so he's going into a bed soon. I had to come to the basement, and Toby does not like the basement. And then when the pandemic started, I decided I would learn how to quilt. So I started quilting, and I had always cross-stitched for years, but had put it away for a long time because I was having a struggle to see. You know, when you're going through that whole 40s, 50s era where you now need to use glasses to read and stuff that you never did before. Well, that was what I went through, and I put my cross-stitch away for a good 20-odd years. And then when I started quilting, I picked back up my cross-stitch. So my channel went from 1 weekly video about knitting to 3 weekly videos about 3 different crafts. And the nice thing is that you can just come back on the days that you're interested in. So if you just want to learn how I've been doing with my cross stitch, then you just tune in on Wednesdays. If you want to know how my knitting's going, you can just listen in on Monday. Quilting on Friday. And if you're just doing the Piazza quilt along with me, every month on a Saturday. So make sure that you like my video and subscribe. It's free. And be sure to tell your mates. Because one of the things I would like to try is to do a live sew along with a bunch of people. I thought that would be really good. Where is my ender? And, oh, here it is. And I can't do a live until I have 1,000 subscribers. And I think I'm up to 800 and something right now. So, yeah, make sure you tell your mates. Because it would be much nicer to sew this with other people than by myself. Although I do have the luxury of being able to edit when things go wrong. And there we have it. Oh, look how lovely that is. Oh, see, it didn't matter which way they went because they're now on an angle anyway. I don't know which way it'll go in the quilt, if it'll go that way. Maybe this is the center. Who knows? Who knows? But there are our lovely blocks. Oh, I better make sure I label that one. So this is 3B. There we go. Let's put a pin in that so we know. And there are our blocks. Eek! Are these not the best? Look at this. Oh, I love it. Isn't that just vibrant? Ooh, I love it. Just adorable. There's that one. That was 3B. And then here is our... I wonder if... No, see, I can't try to figure out at all how these are going to go together. There are 2 of these, but there's only 1 of these. Oh. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed watching. Please like and subscribe. It is free to subscribe. It helps me build my viewership. And once I get to 1,000, I can start doing some lives with you all, so we can actually chat real time. That might be a bit of a nightmare setting up the camera, but hey, we'll manage. We'll do it. Anyway, don't forget to tell your mates so that they can take a look at the videos, and give me a thumbs up and drop me any comments below if you're not sure about something, if I went too fast, if you need some more information about the Cotton Cuts PMQs. I will leave a link below. And I do have a code you can use. Yeah, join in. Okay, bye.